We were halfway through our meatloaf and mashed potatoes when she dropped it. Just like that. No warning, no build-up, like she was talking about the weather. "Oh, by the way," she said, swirling ketchup into her fries like she was doodling. "Jason's back in town. You remember Jason, right? From college?" I looked up. "Your ex." She shrugged. "Yeah. He reached out. We're grabbing lunch Friday. Just catching up." That was it. No hesitation. No checking in, just a heads up like she'd already cleared it with the universe. "My name's Nate. I'm 32. I live in Asheville, North Carolina." I stabbed at a chunk of meatloaf and chewed it longer than I needed to. "When's the lunch?" 1 o'clock, she said, eyes still on her plate. "It's already set. So not a suggestion, not a question, a scheduled event." I nodded slow. "Cool." She paused, like she was waiting for a reaction. I kept my face still. Then she added, "You don't need the details." That one landed hard. You don't need the details. It wasn't just lunch, not anymore. It was a choice. She wasn't asking for permission. She was notifying me after the fact. Like I didn't have a say. Like I was just someone to loop in, not someone to consider. I wiped my mouth with a napkin, tossed it on the table. "All right," I said. "Have fun." She blinked. "You're not upset?" I leaned back in the booth, gave a little shrug. "Nah. I mean, it's lunch, right?" Her shoulders relaxed. She even smiled like she was proud of how mature we were being. "I just figured you wouldn't mind," she said. "You're not the jealous type." "Nope," I said. "Totally fine." She reached over and touched my hand. "You're the best." I smiled right back at her. Let her believe that. Let her feel safe. We finished dinner like nothing had changed. She chatted about her day, some annoying coworker weekend plans. I nodded along, laughed when I was supposed to. But inside, everything had shifted. She thought she was dealing with a laid-back fiancé who didn't get rattled, who didn't ask questions, who stayed in his lane. She had no clue. As we walked out of the diner, she wrapped her arm around mine and leaned her head against my shoulder. I kissed the top of her head. Then I looked up at the sky, already making plans. We got home around 8. She said she was heading straight to the shower, something about needing to wash the day off. I told her I'd be on the couch, just finishing some emails. She kissed my cheek and disappeared upstairs, humming like everything was perfect. I grabbed my laptop from the side table and opened it up, clicked into the inbox we both used for travel plans. There it was, the anniversary cabin reservation she'd been gushing about for weeks. A quiet lake spot with fire pits, canoe rentals, couples yoga. I stared at the email for a few seconds, then hit forward, typed in my private email, and clicked send. After that, I deleted the thread from the shared inbox, then emptied the trash. Gone. I opened a new tab and typed in solo cabin rentals, North Carolina mountains. It didn't take long to find what I needed. A private A-frame tucked in the Blue Ridge, advertised as a quiet solo retreat for writers and thinkers. No rose petals, no couples spa deals, just a wood stove, a stocked mini fridge, and snow on the deck. I picked the same dates, paid in full. Then I sat back and cracked a beer. A few minutes later, I heard her footsteps coming down the stairs. She was wrapped in a blanket, hair still damp, face glowing from the steam. She dropped onto the couch next to me and tucked herself under my arm like she always did. "I'm so excited for next week," she said, eyes closed, lips brushing my shoulder. "Seriously, we need this. Just us." I kept my arm around her and took another sip. "Yeah," I said. "It's gonna be unforgettable." She smiled at that. I could feel her relax completely, like she just passed some invisible test she didn't even realize was happening. Then she pulled out her phone and started scrolling through Pinterest. "I saved this wine and board game combo thing. We should totally do it while we're there. And that big hiking trail, what's it called again?" I gave her a nod. "You'll remember it." She laughed. "I'm serious. I'm making a list. I want this to be special." I kissed her temple. "It will be." She beamed like I'd handed her a diamond and went back to saving pins. It was all so easy for her. Just words, just vibes, no weight to any of it. Meanwhile, I was already packing that cabin in my head, already feeling the cold air, the quiet, the space I'd finally get to breathe in. Eventually, she got up to make tea. I stayed on the couch, scrolling through the rental photos again. There was one shot from the deck, a wooden chair facing nothing but trees and snow. I clicked on it and stared. Then I finished my beer, opened another, and leaned back. She had no clue, not even close. The next morning, I woke up before her. Didn't even turn on the lights. Just padded barefoot into the kitchen, made coffee, and opened the laptop. I logged into the reservation site and clicked cancel. No fees, still within the 7-day window. Got the confirmation email and deleted it before it hit the shared inbox. She was still asleep when I texted my supervisor. Hey, heads up, still taking next week off. Just changed it to a solo cabin trip. All good on your end? He replied a few minutes later. Got it. Enjoy the quiet. I shut the laptop and grabbed my keys. Time to talk to someone who knew me better than she did. Mike was already at the bar when I showed up, nursing his usual whiskey, no ice. I slid into the booth across from him and waved the waitress off before she even asked. I wasn't there to drink. He raised an eyebrow. You look like you buried a body. Almost. I told him everything. The diner conversation, the mountain cabin, all of it. When I finished, he leaned back and let out a low whistle. Damn, Nate, that's cold-blooded. I'm not mad, I said. I'm just done. He stared at me for a second, then nodded. You serious about this? As a heart attack. He knocked on the table twice with his knuckles. You need a place after? My couch is yours. Appreciate it, I said. I'll be good, though. We sat in silence a bit after that. No need to drag it out. That night, I got home first and started dinner, chicken stir-fry, her favorite. She walked in 10 minutes later with a bottle of wine and that fake happy tone she used when she wanted something. You're the best, she said, wrapping her arms around me from behind. Seriously, most guys would have lost their minds. I stirred the pan. Why's that? Lunch with an ex? She said like it was obvious. I mean, I get why people might be weird about it. I didn't turn around. Not my style. She kissed my neck. Exactly. You're cool. That's why I love you. We ate on the couch. She poured the wine, curled up next to me, and started rattling off more ideas for the trip. Ooh, we should bring that board game Mike got us last Christmas, the one with the trivia cards, and the hiking trail near the waterfall. That would be so cute. I even got those new flannel pajamas for the fireplace nights. I chewed slowly, nodded once. Sounds amazing. She clinked her glass against mine. To us. I raised mine back, but I didn't drink. Just watched her. The way her eyes danced like nothing was off. Like everything she said actually meant something. She had no clue this was the last week she'd be planning anything with me. Friday morning, she was up before the alarm. I stayed in bed, eyes half closed, listening to drawers opening, curling iron clacking against the sink, perfume spraying in short bursts. She moved fast, focused, energized, like a teenager getting ready for prom. When I walked into the kitchen around 8, she was already dressed. Not jeans and a work blouse. A soft blue wrap dress I hadn't seen in months. Makeup done. Hair curled. Heels. I raised an eyebrow. That a new outfit? She glanced down at herself like she forgot what she put on. Oh, this? No. Just something I haven't worn in a while. You look ready for something. She poured coffee into her travel mug, not meeting my eyes. Meetings all afternoon. Gotta impress the higher-ups, right? I leaned on the counter and sipped from my mug. Long day. Yeah, probably won't be home until late. Don't wait on me. I nodded, said nothing. She kissed my cheek and grabbed her bag. As she walked out the door, she called, Love you. Same, I said, and the door clicked shut behind her. I spent the rest of the morning cleaning the kitchen just to burn time. Around noon, my phone buzzed. Meeting pushed to 2:30 now. Hope that's okay. I waited. 2 hours later, I replied. No problem. A minute later, She sent back, "Love you." I typed, "Have fun." Then put my phone face down. She didn't get home until just before 6. I heard the engine pull in, then heels on the walkway. When the door opened, she was glowing. "Hey babe," she said, setting her purse on the bench. "Sorry I'm late. That meeting ran long." I stood in the kitchen, leaned on the counter like earlier. "Everything go all right?" "Yeah, it was good. Actually really good. We just talked. That's all." She said it quick, like she needed to get ahead of something. Then she turned her back and walked straight to the cabinet. "Wine?" she called out. "Sure." She poured herself a glass like her nerves were still high, took a big sip and spun around, already launching into a story about something one of her coworkers said. Some dumb inside joke I didn't care about. I nodded at the right times, smiled like I was listening. She never asked how my day was. By dinner, it was like everything was fine. She laughed, touched my arm a little more than usual, threw out random plans for the weekend. I played along. Every time she looked at me, I made sure she saw the same old Nate. Relaxed, easygoing, loyal. But under the table, my jaw was tight, my knuckles stiff around the beer bottle. She thought she was off the hook. She thought I bought the act. She had no idea I already knew exactly how this story ended. She disappeared upstairs after dinner, said she wanted another quick shower to wash the work stress off. I stayed on the couch, feet up, beer in hand, half watching some home renovation show with the volume low. Her phone buzzed next to me. Screen lit up. "Jason, today was amazing. Let's do dinner soon." I stared at it for a second, then took a slow breath. Didn't touch it. Didn't open it. Didn't need to. Everything I needed was right there. I stood up, walked upstairs to the closet, and pulled my suitcase down from the top shelf. The zipper squeaked as I opened it. Started slow: socks, underwear, jeans, shirts. No rush. Everything folded tight. I kept it quiet, calm, methodical. I set it by the front door. Didn't say a word. The rest of the weekend rolled out like a damn sitcom. Saturday, she made pancakes and kept talking about how nice it felt to finally slow down. "We've both been stretched thin," she said, flipping another one. "This trip is coming at the perfect time." I agreed between bites, told her I couldn't wait. She leaned across the table and said, "I'm so glad we're in such a good place again." I kissed her hand. "Me too." Later, we ordered Chinese and watched that dumb superhero movie she likes. Her legs were draped over mine, and she kept smiling at me like I was her safe place. Sunday, she lit a candle and pulled out her laptop, started researching massage packages at the lake resort. They have this couple's deep tissue special. It's pricey, but worth it, right? I leaned over her shoulder and said, "Book it, whatever you want." She kissed me like I'd hung the damn moon. "You're seriously the best. I don't know how I got so lucky." Every word she said just added fuel to the fire I wasn't even showing. I nodded, smiled, played the part. She talked about the fireplace nights again, how she was going to pack that mystery novel she never finishes. I said I'd bring marshmallows. And the entire time, that suitcase sat behind the door. She never noticed. I had it zipped, packed, ready, like a loaded gun under the bed. And the wild part? The acting came easy now. Monday morning, I slipped out of bed before the sun came up. She was still out cold, curled under the blankets, one hand hanging over to my side like she expected me to be there when she woke up. I stared at it for a second, then turned away, showered quick. No lights, just the bathroom fan humming while I moved. I got dressed in silence, grabbed my bag from behind the door, and walked it out to the front step. No creaks, no slam doors, no goodbye note. She wouldn't get a dramatic exit. That's not what this was. She made her choice. I was just following through. I eased the front door shut behind me and got in the car. Cold leather seats. Quiet neighborhood. Engine clicked on low, and I pulled away like it was any other Monday. Except it wasn't. The airport was nearly empty. I parked in long-term, breezed through security, boarded the 7:05 flight to Asheville Regional with nothing but a backpack and the suitcase. My phone buzzed twice on the way up the ramp, but I didn't check. Just slid it to silent and stuffed it deep into the side pocket. By the time I got to the cabin, mist was rolling low across the hills like smoke. The air was sharp, fresh, biting, miles from the fake warmth I'd been living in. The host left the key in a lockbox. I let myself in. The fireplace was already going. Real wood, real heat. No fake gas flicker. The whole place smelled like pine and fire. There was a welcome basket on the kitchen table. Crackers, some local cheese, 2 beers, a handwritten card that said, "Breathe deep. You made it." I grabbed one of the beers and stepped out onto the porch. Took a photo of the trees, all snow-covered, the kind of white silence that makes you feel like you're standing inside a secret. You don't even hear birds out there. Just nothing. By the time night fell, my phone had racked up over 40 missed messages. Calls, voicemails, a couple from her mom, 2 from her sister, all the same tone. Confused, frantic, playing dumb. I took my time, sat by the fire, ate half the crackers, popped the second beer. Then I pulled up the photo I took earlier, typed out one line, "Living my best life. You should try it sometime." Hit send. Turned my phone back off, and let the silence take over. By Tuesday afternoon, I'd gone through most of the food in the welcome basket and walked every trail within a mile of the cabin. That's how I ended up at the resort's shared lodge, the one with the outdoor fire pit and overpriced wine list. I wasn't looking for company, just needed something warm to drink that didn't come from a Keurig. I grabbed a glass of red, found an empty Adirondack chair near the fire, and sank into it like I'd lived there my whole life. The crackle of the flames, the smell of smoke and snow. It hit better than any therapy session ever could. A few minutes later, someone dropped into the seat next to mine. Blonde hair, no makeup, hoodie and hiking boots. She held a sketch pad in one hand and a cup of something steaming in the other. We didn't talk for the first 10 minutes. Just sat there, letting the fire talk for us. Then she looked over and said, "You look like someone who deleted 10 years of photos this week." I laughed before I could stop it. Something like that. "I'm Rachel," she said, sticking her hand out. "Graphic designer. Just quit a job I hated and drove 6 hours to remember what sleep feels like." I shook her hand. "Nate, just left a relationship that forgot how to tell the truth." She smirked. "Ah, so we're both running from something." "More like walking away." Calmly. She nodded like she understood. "Good for you. Most people stay miserable out of habit." That line hit harder than it should have. We ended up talking until the fire burned low. She told me about her old boss, some manipulative VP who ran the creative team like a dictatorship. I told her about the blue dress, the Jason text, the packed bag by the door. Just the basics. She didn't gasp or try to fix it. Just listened, then said, "I respect the hell out of that move." Over the next couple days, we ran into each other more. Same trails, same late coffee hours, same habit of lingering near the fire pit once the sun dipped. One morning, we hiked the ridge trail together. No agenda, just walking and talking. She stopped to sketch a crooked pine tree halfway up and said, "You're different when you're not trying to pretend everything's fine." That stuck with me. We never crossed any lines. Wasn't about that. It was just simple, easy. We'd share a bottle of wine by the fire, talk about books we never finished, goals we forgot we had, places we wanted to live that didn't come with baggage. For the first time in months, I wasn't overthinking every sentence. I turned my phone off completely, slept like a rock, and for once I didn't feel guilty about any of it. Friday morning, I sat on the cabin porch with a fresh cup of coffee and flipped my phone back on. The second it connected, notifications poured in like a flood, calls, texts, voicemails, some from numbers I didn't recognize. I scrolled until I saw her name. Blocked. I unblocked her. Not even 5 minutes later, the screen lit up. Incoming call, Lauren. I let it ring once, then picked up. "Hey!" Her voice cracked. "Oh my God, Nate. Are you okay? Where are you?" "I've been losing my mind." "I'm fine," I said. "Don't freak out." She went silent for half a beat, then tried to lower her tone. "You just vanished. I've been calling hospitals. Your mom. Everyone. I thought something happened. I sipped my coffee. Nothing happened. I just left. She started talking fast, panicked. Can we please talk? Like actually talk? Whatever this is, we can work through it. If I crossed a line, you did. She quieted again. I let it sit for a second, then said, I saw the text. From Jason. Today was amazing. Let's do dinner soon. Her breath caught. Nate. That wasn't what it sounded like. Really? We were just talking. Then why'd you lie about the meeting? About being busy till 2:30. She pivoted. Fast. You're seriously gonna blow everything up over one harmless message? One lunch? After all we've built. I stood up from the chair and looked out over the snow. I'm not blowing anything up. I'm just not pretending anymore. She sniffled real low. It wasn't a big deal. I swear. You're overreacting. This is extreme. No, I said. Extreme is telling your fiancé you don't need the details and then hoping he plays dumb while you reconnect with your ex. Her voice cracked again. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. She went quiet, then tried one more angle. Can we try counseling? Anything? Just don't do this. Please don't walk away. I already did. She started crying. I let her. I've already talked to a lawyer, I said. We'll handle it fairly. No drama. Just clean. But it was just lunch, Nate. Your words, Lauren. You don't need the details. That was your choice. I paused. This is mine. And then I hung up. I pulled into the driveway just after noon. Her car wasn't there. I timed it that way on purpose. I knew her schedule. She'd be at work until at least 4. I still had the spare key on my ring. Used it one last time. Inside, the place smelled like vanilla candles and fake peace. Same throw blanket draped over the couch. Same framed pictures on the walls. Smiling, arms wrapped around each other. Like we hadn't already died months ago. I went straight to the bedroom and started packing. Didn't waste time. Shirts, jeans, my tools, sneakers from under the bed. The hiking boots, she said, made me look too rugged. Whatever the hell that meant, everything went in fast. Halfway through folding up the winter coats, I heard the front door open. Keys drop. Then her voice, tight and rushed. Nate? I didn't answer. She stepped into the hallway and froze when she saw the suitcase open on the bed. Oh my God, she said, like she just walked in on a crime scene. What are you doing? I told you, I said, zipping up one of the bags. I'm coming to get my stuff. She stepped forward, hands slightly raised, voice soft like I was a scared animal. Can we please talk? Just sit down with me for 5 minutes. I looked her in the eye. We're talking now. She swallowed hard. This can't be it. One mistake and you're out? That's not fair. It wasn't one mistake, I said. It was lying. It was not giving a damn how it made me feel. It was scheduling a date with your ex and telling me, you don't need the details. That wasn't a slip-up. That was who you are when I'm not in the room. I didn't sleep with him, she said quickly, like that would fix it all. I shook my head. You think that's the only bar? That's the line that matters? She stepped closer. We can go to counseling. Talk it out. I'll do whatever you want. Just don't leave like this. I'm not mad, I said, tossing the last hoodie into the duffel. I'm just done. And I'm not dragging this out for another 6 months pretending I don't see what's right in front of me. Tears welled up in her eyes. She reached for me, touched my arm. Please, Nate. I love you. I looked at her hand, then back at her. I don't believe you, she gasped like I hit her. You don't mean that. I mean every word. I zipped the last bag and slung it over my shoulder. She stood in the hallway like a wall I had to walk through. No yelling. No names. No door slamming. Just me walking out. She followed me to the driveway, barefoot, shaking, trying not to sob out loud. Don't go, she whispered. I opened the trunk, set the bags in, and shut it gently. She stood there, crying, arms folded tight across her chest like that would hold her together. I got in the car, started the engine and pulled out slow. She didn't chase me. She just stood in the same spot, crying like it was the first time she realized I was real. I didn't look back. She'd already had her chance. The divorce went through 2 months later. No fights, just lawyers, paperwork, and a final signature on a dotted line. No dramatic emails. No screaming voicemails. Just done. I moved into a small rental a few blocks from downtown. Nothing special. 2 bedrooms, old wood floors, a sink that rattled when the hot water kicked on. But it was mine. Quiet. Simple. I started hitting the gym again. Got back to lifting heavy, clearing my head 1 rep at a time. Picked up old hobbies I'd dropped. Sketching, yard sale flips, weekend drives with no destination. People I hadn't seen in years started reaching out. Old co-workers. My cousin in Raleigh. Even Mike stopped by more, brought beer and talked about fantasy football like nothing had changed. Rachel and I kept in touch. Slow, casual. No pressure. She visited once, drove up on a Saturday, stayed through dinner. We walked downtown, ate tacos from a food truck, laughed about how weirdly nice it felt to just be around someone without history hanging between every word. At the end of the night, she hugged me and said, "I like this version of you." I said, "Yeah, me too." She didn't stay over. That wasn't the point. This wasn't about replacing anyone. It was about learning how to breathe again. A couple weeks later, I ran into Lauren at the grocery store. She was by the produce section, staring at apples like they were going to pick themselves. She saw me. I know she did, but she didn't say anything, and neither did I. We stood there for maybe 3 seconds, 2 strangers with a shared history. Then I turned down the next aisle and kept walking. No hate, no rush of emotion, just nothing. Sometimes people ask if I regret how I handled it. Just walking out, no second chances, no big dramatic sit down. I don't. She made her choices. I made mine. I'm not bitter. I'm just free.